Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Stewart. I am the lead financial coach and founder of Do Better Financial. And this is our new time. Thank you for finding your way here at 7:30 on a Monday. This is our second installment of Meconomy Monday, where we're just going to discuss different things that affect your personal economy, not necessarily the economy at large. So to start this evening, I would like to give a shout out to the lovely ladies who participated on the panel and also who attended the Hats and Heels Fempire Tour this past Saturday. We had a great time. Hi, Angel. Thanks for joining us today. We have a great time with our host, Deborah Franklin, who talked about stepping out on faith and some of the things that she did before she launched her book, and also this conference and workshop. We had Miss Nigeria Lockley, who shared a lot of information about branding and placement and being in the right area, knowing where your customers are, things like that. We had Katia Botts Akers, who talked about physical fitness and taking care of our bodies, especially as female business owners, which a lot of the people were there. They either had businesses or wanted to start them. We had Sydney Rax, who's a author, and she talked to us about connections and getting out of our comfort zones. And we had Dr. Laurel Rich. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't know Dr. Laurel Rich, you should go look her up. She's pretty impressive. She talked about having discipline in challenging times, and she also talked about finding purpose for today. Not just having purpose for your entire life, but what's the purpose for today? Kind of like a to-do list, but for a greater purpose, right? And last but not least, you had George Trusley, and I, of course, talked about improving your economy and making your dreams a reality. So I want to give a shout out to everybody who participated. We also had a great expo. My sister was there, and she actually won a great gift from Miss Katia. I'm going to go over there and see if there's anything she doesn't want that I can jack. And my mom was there as well, and she bought some awesome books. We had some great women there. Miss Shonda Cullens was there, and I'm just giving shout outs to people that I can remember off the top of my head if you were there, and I don't mention your name, I'm sorry. Oh, Sister Ola was there. So if you watch this channel and you were there, please comment and let them know how awesome the Fempire Tour was. So I'm going to kind of use a little bit of what I was talking about on Saturday for the video today. What we're going to be discussing is priorities. So we've kind of hinted at this when we were talking about saving and finding your why. We hinted a little bit at this about budgeting, about putting what you want in there. Today I have a question for everybody watching or anybody who's going to watch later. What are your dreams and priorities? What's the thing that you want to do? What's the thing that keeps you getting up in the morning? And second question, the two-part question, what is it and where did it come from? Is this something that you decided? Is this something that's like lighting your fire? Or is this something that you just acquired from a family or friend or just the population at large? Let's give you an example, okay? There's this thing called the Dr. Mercedes syndrome. There might not be the exact name of it, but that's what I like to call it. A lot of people, when they graduate from medical school, doctors, they feel the need to buy a fancy car. It doesn't have to be a Mercedes, but they feel the need to buy a car, right? A luxury one to show their status and, signify that they are now a DR, they're no longer an intern or a resident, right? The question is, do all those people who have gone through medical school actually want those cars, or do they feel like they have to have them? Do they have those desires imposed upon them? Let's try another example. People, especially when they get married, but even if you're single and you've just had a job for a while, everybody's telling you that stop throwing away your money on rent. You need to buy a house. You need to buy a house. You need to buy a house. You need to buy a house right now, right? You gotta buy a house. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy a house. I'm wondering, just a question, do you actually want the responsibility of owning a house? Do you want to invest your money, quote unquote, and it might not be an investment depending on what you buy, but that's a separate subject. Do you want to invest your money in a house in one place? You might be somebody who plans to travel, move every 2-3 years. Buying a house might not be a good idea for you. Or you might not want a house. You might want a condo. And I know that there are people out there going, condo? Why would you pay for an apartment? Well, if you want to have something that's yours, but you hate yard work, you don't have any animals, and in reality, you'd rather have, somebody that's got a concierge that's going to come take your trash away, that might be a better deal for you. But when we're talking about our priorities, we have to decide what ours are, not what mom's are. this goes for married people too. Grandma wants grandkids, right? Do you and your spouse want kids? Kids don't go away quickly. They don't grow up fast either. Hi, Nigeria. Thanks for joining us today. They don't grow up fast either. You know, you're talking about at the very bare minimum an 18-year commitment. And, you know, if you see them through college, you're talking about 22, 23, 24, depending on how much schooling they do. This is a huge commitment. You can't just let your mom's desire for grandkids make that for you. So I want to say that when you're thinking about your priorities, really give them a look. It's like, oh, yes, I want to have a house. But do you? I want to have kids. But do you? These are things you have to decide for yourself, because I can tell you right now, if you let other people make your decisions, you live out their goals and their priorities, you're going to end up either miserable or unfulfilled and bitter. These are most of your options there. Okay? So there's a quote that I really love. It's by a guy named Dale Carnegie, which I'm sure some of you have heard of, some of you may have not. And he says that those convinced against their will are of the same opinion still. I'm going to say it again. It rhymes, so I might have said it a little weird. Those convinced against their will are of the same opinion still. So basically what he's talking about is you're not just looking for behavior change here. You're looking for mindset change. You're looking for a paradigm shift. So let me give you an example. I work out on a pretty regular basis. Personally, I don't care if I have a flat stomach. It's not a priority for me. Want to know how I know that? I prefer to eat lots of things that aren't good for you. And the way you get a flat stomach is to eat other things that I don't necessarily want to eat all the time. So for me, it's not a priority, and I'm okay with that. I don't walk around going, oh, look at her stomach. I wish I had that stomach. No, I don't, because that stomach is a lot of work. I don't want to do that work. You need to be honest with yourself about what your priorities are, and then you should arrange your budget, arrange your life, arrange your savings about what your priorities are, not anybody else's. So if you want to change behavior, you have to first convince yourself that the change is necessary, that there's good in it. This goes for finances, of course, too. Hi, Lala. Thanks for joining us today. Hi, LaTanya. Thanks for joining us today. I think my phone was doing something weird, and I knew there were people watching, but I couldn't see their names coming up. If you know you want to change something, you have to first convince yourself that why it's worth it. Because if you think something's worth it, you'll sacrifice for it. I personally thought getting out of debt was a good thing to do. So I made the changes necessary in my life to make that happen. It seemed like sacrifices to some people, and some of it was, I'm not going to lie, but a lot of it was just, this is my priority right now. This is number one on the list. Everything else is 2 through 25. Hey, Darren, thanks for joining us today. Everything else is 2 through 90 or whatever. It didn't matter in the grand scheme of what my goals were. So when you're doing your budget, when you're trying to figure out, you know, which sports to enroll the kids in this year, don't necessarily just think about what mom wants, grandma, what dad wants, grandpa, what uncles and aunts want, or even what you and your spouse want. If your kid's going to have to play this sport, don't sink your money into it if they don't even want to do it. What a waste, right? So be honest with yourself about what it is that you want, and then arrange your life around those desires, right? Because if you don't, you're just going to end up miserable and unfulfilled. So when it comes to your money, that's true as well. If you want to get out of debt, I am happy to help you. That's what I do. If you're trying to get on a budget, I want to help you. That's what I'm going to do. I will bring the how to. I just need you to bring the want to, because I can't do that part for you. The behavior will come after the want to. Now, you can force the behavior, but it usually doesn't last long, and you usually end up bitter. So take time, think about your priorities. We got a new school year coming up. Don't ignore this stuff, because eventually it'll come up. It's going to come up in your budget. If you look at your money and it's all going to something that you really don't want to do, hey, time for a change. I want to thank everybody so much for joining me today and on Weeconomy Wednesday. If you did go back to school shopping, Please let me know in the comments how it went. Did you get your budget? Did you stick to your plan? Did you take a snack and pack your patience? How'd it go? Did you get any good deals? Please let me know in the comments. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer on either a Me Economy Monday video or the occasional We Economy Wednesday videos. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us today. Please just leave them in the comments, or you can DM them to me on my business page, Do Better Financial, or you can email them to me at christian@dobetterfinancial.com. I will see you next Monday at the same time, 7:30 p.m. Don't forget, we've moved later, 7:30 p.m. Have a great evening, and figure out what you want to do, not what everybody else does.